So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take it out for a drive. Wow, it's been 10 years. Can you believe it? Because I can't. That's right, this car is 10 years old. Yes, it's a little under mileage, but this multi-air engine has seen everything. So how has it held up? Let's find out. For those of you who have been around for a long time, know that this is my 2014 Fiat 500 Pop. It's had its ups and downs. It has a wrap on it that's starting to get old, but we'll talk about that later. It is painted in Grigio, which is one of my favorite colors, although Fiat says otherwise. And it's definitely taken a beating. Not just there, but also here. As you can see, the wheel covers are missing. But that affects nothing. That's cosmetic. The engine and everything is still great. I just washed the car today, but the interior has held up pretty nicely. Remember that from a couple of years ago? You probably don't. But I'm going to talk about that as well. But overall, it's held up quite nice. If I grab out the key, I'm going to replace this shell. Yeah, this was a cheap shell. But it works, and I fixed the key now. So it kind of locks itself in. Barely. But it does. So I'll start it here. Put it in sport. Yes, I have it in Italian. Okay, that's for fun. And that's to help me learn. Transmission, still good as ever. And the engine, there's a slight flutter. That's new. That's not a turbo, I promise. See if you can hear it. I don't know what it is. It might be a heat shield. Besides, this broke because phone mount. Don't put a phone mount in here. And this. So this is the repair my mom did. Screwed it down, put in a block of wood. Oh god, this is such a bad fix, but it works. I mean, technically it's a good fix if it works, but it looks absolutely horrible, and I have passengers in this car all the time now. I always give friends rides, and this has come up, there it is from the other side, has come up in a conversation a couple of times, and I really don't like talking about it, but everybody notices it, so I'll replace this eventually, because I have plans for this interior. So let me go over those plans. As you can see, the 500 Pop has these cloth seats with kind of a vinyl leather material at the top half. They're okay, but I think I'm going to put in an interior that's just a bit better. Don't get me wrong, the seats are comfortable, but they don't look too nice, and they don't hold you in very well. And pretty recently, I learned that you could just buy the seat covers from a 500 Sport or a Lounge and swap them out pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, as for what combo, I have no idea. There's 15 combinations, and I can't decide. You guys put in the comments down below which ones you think. I'm going to put on the screen here, 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 and here. Which ones I think would look the best with that stripe or without. I'll talk about that right now. So, about this guy. It's been on the car since day one. It looks 10 years old. Feels 10 years old. When you scrub it, it doesn't actually clean up. So this is... yeah, I think the stripe is... I think it needs to go. Now over here it looks a bit better. But the car does spend a lot of time in the garage. at night. So obviously this wrap isn't going to last very long if it's always outside during the day. Now I'd hate to get rid of this stripe because you can't really find it anywhere. And it looks so good. But it's not aging very well. So which is why I want to replace it. Now I'll put on the screen down here an idea that I have. This same stripe, but a light metallic silver, almost like the billet argento color. I think that would look cool. Or this same stripe, just in white. Any wrap shop can realistically replicate anything you want, so they can replicate this. I also thought of a belt line stripe, either like maybe like the checkered one, that's like checkered here, and then it's a solid white line all the way down the belt line. Or in white or black, Prima Edizione style, which goes down here, and then in the back it has 500 written out. Either one would look cool, and there's also a wrap available. And of course, these wraps aren't very expensive. I'll put links in the description for them all because they are really good. You can find them on eBay in really high quality 3M vinyl. There's one for the roof as well, so you can get it in white, which I think if that was in white and the spoiler in white with either this stripe or the belt line, one of the belt line stripes in white, would just look awesome. As for those guys, I have plans to either get the original wheel covers and paint them either black or white because the silver is just ugly, or get proper alloys like everyone else, and probably 16-inch. I'll talk about tires because tires is the big subject. No one really knows what tires to get. These, I've never seen them on a Fiat before, but they are good tires. They're great. They've been on the car for 40,000 miles in 2 years. They handle fantastic. The pattern on the sidewall looks cool, so when you give it some tire shine, it looks great. The tread pattern here is good. It is wearing just a little bit here, so they might need time to replace. But for front wheel drive, okay, never mind, they do need replacing. Didn't even look at that. Okay, they're at the wear bars. That's fantastic. But this car has been driven pretty hard, so these are good tires. Definitely going to get these again. As for the backs, they're actually fine. They're okay. I'm definitely going to get these tires again, though. Excuse my voice also, if it sounds like I struggle talking. It's because I just have been having a problem the past 2 weeks, and I don't know what it is. This back tire, oh my god, it's fantastic. Okay. I'll rotate these, because the car is due for an oil change. Yeah, okay. These tires will get replaced. But they're cheap. They're not that expensive. It's like under $130 a tire or something. And they're great for handling. They handle everything. Dirt. I've taken it in the dirt. They handle rain. Fantastic. No grip issues whatsoever. They handle the back roads, the twisties perfectly. These are good tires. The only thing that I'm going to do for the next time I get tires, this sidewall's good. I'm not going to go lower on the sidewall because they're only 15-inch wheels. I'm going to go 10 mil wider. Or either 10 or 5 mil wider on these. That way the grip's a bit better. And yeah, okay, they're wearing on the other side. Okay, so yeah, these tires need replacement soon. But really, these are great tires. It's had a lot done. 2021 was when we got these tires, and we've driven the car 45, almost 50,000 miles since then. So yeah, it's not bad. So let me tell you guys about the damage that has occurred in the past 10 years of this car. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The sill. So not long ago, so last year, we took the car in to our mechanic to get the driver's side CV axle replaced, as it was knocking pretty loud. And when we got the car back, I didn't notice this until about a day later. I don't know how we jacked up the car, but I think it was from the pinch weld, which you're not supposed to do on a Fiat. There's an arrow here, but that's only if you're using a scissor jack. Fiat tells you, at least to my knowledge, to use this box section, which is the best place to do it. Always do your research. You can see how it's crumpled right here. This sill is completely crushed. How to replace it, I have no idea. And I don't even want to know how much it costs. Should I probably go after my mechanic for this? Yes, I should. Is he going to care or blame it on someone else because it's been 1 year? Yes. But here's the last person to jack this car up in the air off that side of the car. So I know exactly who to blame, and I have pictures of 2 days after the CV axle was replaced, and I believe I also have the receipt, so I could probably prove this. I don't know where this came from. Probably not the front end cover. I'm trying to think of things where this may have came from, and I have no idea. My mom probably did that. This happened a while ago. So in 2019, I had the front cover on, and so it was like that for a couple of months. And then I took the front cover off and discovered this, which wasn't there before. So I don't know where that came from. Possibly from a chair in my garage, possibly hitting this. This, that's from when my mom ran into one of those parking barriers, and I told her to stop, and she didn't stop because she thought she had room, and completely obliterated the bumper and tore up a little bit of the fender liner down here and completely obliterated it now. This thing is, look, it already just broke. There's a lot wrong with this, so this will get replaced eventually, this arch liner. This that I touched up right here, that's from when my mom inched into a telephone pole. She claimed she didn't see it. A telephone pole outside my house. It's been there forever that no one's ever hit before. She said she didn't see it, and that's how this happened, and it looked much worse than this. I polished it out, but before there was a mark here and here. I have pictures somewhere. This edge here happened like week 2 of buying the car, and it was so upsetting. And we know who did it. And the funny part is we knew the person, and it was kind of embarrassing. It was a box truck, I think, backed into the door and chipped the paint, so I touched it up here. Also, tell me this doesn't look like a face. Every time I've seen this, I just can't help myself but laugh every time I notice it. These little marks here, I polished them up a while ago. This is when the car got hit by a Jeep. This is when someone hit the car in the Home Depot parking lot with a Home Depot shopping cart because there was an orange line here. This one is the one that really pisses me off the most. Every time I look at this, it drives me insane. I know that it's probably not an easy thing to PDR, and just looking at it, it just bothers me because it makes what otherwise, besides the bumper, a pretty nice car look a little trashed. But that little dent isn't even our fault. So, yeah, that makes it more irritating. Oh yeah, almost forgot to mention these mirror flags. Need to replace them. They're worn out on both sides. The same way. They're all gone. Let me tell you what has happened over this mileage. So, 2021, just a bunch of road trips. That's where a lot of the mileage came from. A lot of it got piled on in that year. And afterwards, it was just mainly my commute to school. Now, that drive is 20 miles one way, 20 miles the other way. So not counting road trips or other driving, this car is driven 250 miles a week. Now, thankfully, it's pretty good on gas, which is good because the gas prices in this state, California, are insane. It shouldn't be $6 a gallon for premium gas. To fill it up from empty should not cost $60 or more, depending on what the gas prices is that day. And now I've been driving it hard for YouTube, just for the video. So that's where 18.8 comes from. But I regularly see between 35 and 40 on my trip to school. Now this is kind of the guessometer, so it's not perfectly accurate, but I reset this every drive to school and every drive home, and I average about 35 to 40 on my drive to school, and on my drive home about 29, because I'm stuck in traffic. For the steering wheel, you know, it gets driven a lot. This might be from rings or something. It scrapes pretty easily. this wheel quality is not that great. And a couple years ago I said this was urethane. This is not urethane. This is leather. A really poor quality leather though. Horn still works great and sounds really weird. Blue and Me, shockingly, it still works good. It reads my text messages okay. And I figured out last year this is how you actually control everything in here. It's not in English right now, but this is how you control this like last message or something, which I don't want it to play. But yeah, this works well.
Say a command.
Help.
The available commands are message reader, pairing, settings, phone, media player, or exit.
Exit. See, still works good. So everything here just works good. Air conditioning works great. It's the best air conditioning I've ever used in a car. 6-speed auto works great. A really good transmission. And the engine's pretty happy. So right now, why don't we take it out for a quick drive and give you some B-roll clips, some acceleration shots, and we'll wrap up the video. And a warning label. I love that. Let's see what the warning is. I bet you it's the daytime running lights. I could almost guarantee it. Well, let's find out together because it's not telling me. It might actually just be oil change time. Come on. Give it to me. There we go. Yeah. Oil change. It's due. And so is a transmission fluid change also. That's also due. Let's go ahead and take it out for a drive. This car just suits me well. I was talking to friends the other day, and I asked them, what car do you see me in? And they all said this. Let's do a light to medium pull. It pulls great. It really does. It did that with these. This car really is fantastic. A 0 to 25 is pretty quick. That's a quarter throttle, I promise. Yes, I have it in sport mode. I can't drive it not in sport mode. Sport mode's too good. And it does just fine. But sport feels better on the steering and stuff. Put it in manual mode here for you guys. Which doesn't really do much. Because you can't rev it out to red line like this. Which I wish you can. I wish that was possible. But you can't. That's good acceleration. So that being said, you know, this car's been fantastic. Everything that I explained earlier is pretty much all I want to do with this car. Except for maybe sport bumpers. I think the sport front fascia would look pretty nice. And a spoiler, which we've wanted to do for a while. But besides that, this car's been great. So I guess I'll cut to the B-roll of some acceleration shots. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the update and seeing the Fiat back on the channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video and the